guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you guys my favorite albums that I have on vinyl. So my vinyl record collection is pretty big now. I've been collecting for about a year and a half. I have about 50 records total. I thought I would show you guys which albums that I play the most. So some of these are my favorite albums of all time, like definitely in my top 10, and some of them aren't just because not all of my favorite albums are on vinyl. So these are just the ones that I have on vinyl that I love the most and that I play most often. You've probably seen me talk about some of these records a lot because I love them so much and I love the colored variants, and this is definitely modern music. I do consider myself to have a very modern taste in music, so these records are considered pretty new, I think. If you're new to my channel, I do post a ton of different vinyl record content, and anywhere from record hauls to just tips and talking about my collection. So if you want to see those videos, there will be links in the description, and be sure to subscribe for more vinyl related videos. I'm always open to suggestions, so let me know what kind of vinyl record related videos you want me to make next. So these are in no particular order. I tried to rank them, but it was just too hard. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is 5 Sauce. As you can see, I have the 5 Sauce merch on right now because it's cold. And I'm going to be talking about 5 Sauce's third album, Youngblood. If you've been watching my channel, then you know I'm a really big fan of theirs, and I talk about them all the time. I make a ton of videos about them, and Youngblood is probably my favorite 5 Sauce album. And this album has so many great songs on it. I just love like every song on here. It's really like pop, punk, rock type of music. They're a band obviously, so they all play their own instruments and stuff, and I really love all the guitar solos and the pianos, and also some really awesome bass lines too, like especially Youngblood. So definitely give this album a listen if you haven't. But yeah, I always find myself playing Youngblood all the time. Like if I just want to listen to a 5 Sauce album, 90% of the time I will just play Youngblood. Kind of similar to 5 Sauce, I do have the band Camino's EP Try Hard. I heard about the band Camino through 5 Sauce. They were supposed to open for 5 Seconds of Summer, and I was listening to their music and I actually really like them. I did go see them in concert a couple weeks ago. They have really great music. Their Try Hard EP is so good. They have a very similar sound to 5 Sauce, so that's probably why I like them, but they're definitely more of like an indie pop rock band. But there's just so many great songs on here, like Daphne Blue. Daphne Blue is probably my favorite. I love See Through, Honest. They just put out their debut album. I did pre-order it on vinyl and it hasn't come yet, but once it comes I'll probably be listening to it a lot as well. This album sounds so good on vinyl. It is definitely very great quality, and I do have the orange pressing of this. I don't know, it just sounds so great on vinyl, like the production and everything and how they press it on vinyl was just so perfect. It sounds really good on vinyl. So definitely check out the band Camino if you're interested and you kind of like indie pop rock music similar to 5 Seconds of Summer. Next up I have Dua Lipa's latest album, her second album, Future Nostalgia. This album is really great. It really holds up to the name Future Nostalgia because it's kind of bringing back like the disco, funk, 80s type music, but it puts like a fresh new spin on it. You've probably heard these songs on the radio a lot. I mean, they're still playing all these songs on the radio. She's got some really great songs on here like Levitating, Don't Start Now, Hallucinate, Break My Heart, Physical. All of those are really great songs, and I just really love this album. It's probably one of my favorite like disco type albums, like the newer ones, if you know what I mean, like the kind of like the modern remake of like 80s music, kind of like The Weeknd. And I really love this album. I really love like house and disco and funk type of music. All of these songs have awesome bass lines, so that's also why I listen to this a lot. Continuing on with kind of like funk disco kind of music, I have Funk Wave Bounces Volume 1 by Calvin Harris. This album has a ton of features on it. So many iconic names like Migos, Ariana Grande, Khalid, Travis Scott, Snoop Dogg, Katy Perry, Pharrell Williams, Nicki Minaj. The list goes on and on. This is like a combination of a ton of different genres like EDM, obviously funk because it's in the name, disco, pop. It's just really great. I love all the songs on here, and this is definitely like a summer album. I've said this so many times, but if you're looking for some nice music to listen to during the summer, definitely listen to this album. And I love Calvin Harris. He's definitely one of my favorite DJs, and I just really love this album so much. There's so many like awesome pop radio singles on this album. It's just so great. So I especially love Slide and Cash Out. Those are just so fun to listen to. And this is on 180 gram vinyl, so obviously it sounds so much better on vinyl vinyl. It's really high quality. This is kind of hard to get your hands on because this album is actually pretty rare and valuable now. But if you are able to get your hands on it, definitely listen to it on vinyl. Moving on into some more EDM type of music, I have the Chainsmokers' first album, Memories Do Not Open. The Chainsmokers only have their first album and 2 EPs on vinyl. I'm kind of sad about that because I really love their later 2 albums. This is probably not my favorite Chainsmokers album, but it's like the only one they have on vinyl to listen to, so obviously I listen to it. And I really love the aesthetic of this album. It's kind of hard to see with the glare, but I just really love the aesthetic and the visuals of this cover art so much. And this has some pretty iconic songs like Something Just Like This and Paris, which you've probably heard on the radio a lot. I love the Chainsmokers so much. They're definitely some of my favorite DJs. Like I said, I don't think this is their best album and it's not my favorite Chainsmokers album, but I still like it and I really do play this a lot, especially because it's on this really cool gold pressing. This is just so nostalgic for me. It brings back like so many memories. I just love this album so much. Also in the EDM genre, I have True Colors by Zedd. This is Zedd's latest album. When I remember listening to it, I just keep thinking about how great the sound quality is. This is like very hardcore, heavy EDM. Zedd does a really great job with all of these songs. They all sound so different but yet cohesive for the whole album, and I just love the aesthetic of it. He also has some really cool features on this song too. Like I said, Selena Gomez, Logic, Troye Sivan, just to name a few. So definitely give this a try if you like Zedd and if you like EDM music. I'm moving on to rap/hip-hop music with these last few albums. So this one that I always listen to is Beer Bongs and Bentleys by Post Malone. First of all, I just want to talk about the cover art of this because it's different from the album artwork, but I really love what he did with the vinyl on this. It's his eye with the barbed wire, which was very important to the aesthetic of Beer Bongs and Bentleys. With the gray and the yellow, so I really love that a lot. It's hard for me to pick my favorite Post Malone album, and it switches between Beer Bongs and Bentleys and Hollywood's Bleeding, but right now I'd probably say it's Beer Bongs and Bentleys, although it'll probably change. But I just love Beer Bongs and Bentleys so much. So many of my favorite Post Malone songs are on this album, like Rockstar, Psycho, Candy Paint, Sugar Ray. Definitely one of my favorite rap albums because Post Malone is one of my favorite rappers. Definitely listen to this if you like Post Malone. So like I said, I also really love Hollywood's Bleeding by Post Malone. This is his latest album, his 3rd album. This sounds really great on vinyl as well, and I really love the artwork and the aesthetic. Post Malone has really great like aesthetic albums. There's so many great songs on this too. Hollywood's Bleeding, Saint Tropez, Wow, I Know, Staring at the Sun, Dive for Me, On the Road. Like I could just keep listing them, but these have some of my favorite Post Malone songs as well. Getting down to the last couple albums I'm going to talk about. So this one is Death Race for Love by Juice WRLD. Rest in peace, Juice WRLD. This is his 2nd album, and it's probably my favorite Juice WRLD album. I also really love the artwork for this. Definitely fits with the whole death race thing, because like the cars and everything. I just love it so much, and these are all the songs on it. This album definitely has a ton of my favorite Juice WRLD songs, probably like 75% of my favorite Juice WRLD songs are on this album. I mean, there's Empty, Maze, Fast, Feeling, just to name a few. Those are some of my favorites. Yeah, I don't know, I just really connected with these songs a little bit more than his other albums. He is coming out with another EP. I think it's called The Party Never Ends, and so whenever that comes out, I'll be reacting to it. I'm really excited for that. It's just really sad because he passed, but I'm still happy that he's still releasing music, so we haven't heard the last of Juice WRLD. The last album that I'm going to talk about is the Black Panther soundtrack. This is not the score, this is the soundtrack that was made specifically for the movie, and really Kendrick Lamar kind of took the lead on this one, and he's featured on like a lot of the songs. He's definitely like the main guy on this album. There's a lot of like African instruments used in the songs that I think is really cool and unique, and it really fits the movie. This is definitely the movie soundtrack that I listen to the most. I just love so many songs on here, like Paramedic, King's Dead, All the Stars, of course. There's so many incredible features on here. Like I said, Kendrick Lamar, SZA, Khalid, Sway Lee, just to name a few. The Weeknd, even, like Travis Scott too. I just listened to it so much, and it's on this really cool red translucent vinyl. Yeah, the movie Black Panther was really good, and I probably like the soundtrack just as much as the movie. So those were all of my favorite albums that I have on vinyl and that I listen to the most, like my go-tos when I just want to play some music on my record player. Let me know your favorite albums that you have on vinyl. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!